It was a cold Monday morning when Emily Parker stepped through the gates of Ridgewood High, clutching her backpack tightly, her heart thumping against her ribs like a caged bird. She was the new girl, quiet, polite, and just trying to fit in. Her family had recently moved from California after her father's death in a tragic car accident, leaving her mother, Sarah Parker, a former U.S. Army strategist, to raise her alone. Emily's brown hair framed her soft face, and though her eyes were kind, there was a flicker of pain behind them. The school, however, didn't see her kindness, it saw a target. Within hours of stepping in, the rumors began. Who's the new chick? Why's she walking like she owns the place? Bet she's one of those quiet nerds. The Bullies, a group of 4 led by Megan Holt, the most feared girl in school, made sure no newcomer ever felt safe. Megan's father was a wealthy attorney, giving her the confidence to act like she ruled the halls. That day during lunch, Emily sat alone in the cafeteria, trying to eat her sandwich while pretending not to notice the stares. Megan's crew approached her table. "Hey, California," Megan said mockingly, "you lost. This isn't some movie where the new girl gets a happy ending." Laughter erupted around the table. Emily forced a small smile. "I'm not trying to bother anyone." "Oh, you already did," another girl sneered. They poured juice on her lunch, slapped her tray away, and walked off laughing. Emily sat frozen, humiliated. The whispers, the laughter, it burned her. She didn't tell her mother that night, Sarah had enough on her plate. But the next day was worse. The bullies cornered her by the lockers, shoved her books to the floor, and told her she didn't belong. For days, Emily endured their cruelty in silence. Until Friday afternoon, when they decided to teach her a lesson. Behind the school gym, where no cameras could see, they pushed Emily to the ground, kicking and laughing. "Think you're better than us, huh?" Megan shouted, slapping her across the face. Emily begged them to stop, but they didn't. By the time a janitor found her, she was barely conscious. Her lips were bleeding, her ribs bruised, and her spirit shattered. The ambulance arrived. Word spread like wildfire across Ridgewood High, the new girl was beaten half to death. And when Sarah Parker arrived at the hospital, her calm, composed face hid a storm brewing within. She held her daughter's hand and whispered, "They messed with the wrong family." Sarah Parker sat beside Emily's hospital bed, her jaw clenched so tight it hurt. The heart monitor beeped steadily, and Emily's pale face told a story of pain and fear. The doctor said she was lucky to be alive, but Sarah knew luck had nothing to do with this, it was cruelty, pure and simple. And she would not let it slide. When the principal of Ridgewood High, Mr. Dalton, visited that night, he spoke in rehearsed tones. "Mrs. Parker, we are deeply sorry for what happened. The school will handle this matter internally." Sarah's eyes snapped open like daggers. "Internally," she repeated coldly. "Your internal handling almost killed my daughter." Mr. Dalton shifted uneasily. "We'll suspend the students responsible." "Suspend," she hissed, standing up slowly. "My daughter was beaten half to death, and you think a suspension is justice?" Dalton had no answer. That's when Sarah made a silent vow. She wouldn't rest until every person who let this happen paid the price, the bullies, the school, the administration. The next morning, Sarah put on her old military jacket, the same one she wore during her years as a tactical analyst in Afghanistan. She wasn't just a grieving mother, she was a strategist with nothing left to lose. First, she hacked into the school's public servers, using old military software still burned into her laptop. She pulled surveillance footage, private emails, and student files. What she found stunned her. Teachers had repeatedly reported Megan's gang for bullying, but the administration covered it up, because Megan's father was a major donor. Sarah recorded everything. Then she called in favors, old friends from the Army now working in cybersecurity and media. By Monday morning, Ridgewood High's name was trending online. Leaked videos, screenshots, and internal memos flooded social media. Parents were outraged. Reporters swarmed the school gates. "Ridgewood High protects bullies who nearly killed student," one headline screamed. The district tried to silence it, but Sarah had already gone viral. She appeared on local news, standing outside the hospital, her voice trembling with fury and power. "My daughter is lying in that bed because a system designed to protect children chose silence over justice. I'm not backing down." Crowds began to gather. Parents demanded answers. Protesters stood outside with signs, "Justice for Emily." Megan's father tried to sue Sarah for defamation, but when she released the uncut hallway footage of his daughter's gang attacking Emily, his world crumbled. He withdrew the case, and Megan faced expulsion and criminal charges. But Sarah wasn't done. She turned her attention to the principal, the teachers who ignored the warnings, the district that brushed complaints aside. She exposed their emails, forcing resignations one by one. Ridgewood High was collapsing from the inside. And as chaos spread, one thing became clear: Sarah Parker wasn't just fighting for Emily. She was fighting for every kid who'd ever been silenced by fear. Within a week, Ridgewood High looked like a war zone, reporters outside, police investigating, and students walking through the halls with cameras in hand. The once untouchable bullies now sat in fear. Megan and her crew were suspended indefinitely, facing juvenile assault charges. Their parents tried to pull strings, but Sarah's evidence was airtight. Every lie, every cover-up, every hidden report, she had it all. The story had now reached national attention. Talk shows invited Sarah to speak about school bullying. Hashtags like #JusticeForEmily and #RidgewoodReform trended for days. Parents from across the country sent messages of support. Emily, slowly recovering, watched it all from her hospital bed, tears streaming down her face. "Mom, you did all this for me," she whispered. Sarah smiled softly, brushing her daughter's hair back. "No, sweetheart. I did this for every kid who never got the chance to fight back." The school board had no choice but to fire the principal and reassign nearly half the staff. They implemented strict anti-bullying protocols, mental health programs, and anonymous reporting systems, all under Sarah's guidance. The district even offered her a position as a student protection consultant, which she accepted. But beneath her calm demeanor, everyone knew this was a woman who turned grief into power. The bullies, once feared by everyone, were now the outcasts. Megan's reputation was destroyed, her family left town in shame. The same hallways that once echoed with laughter at Emily's expense now carried whispers of admiration for her and awe for her mother. Emily returned to school months later, stronger, more confident. When she walked in, the crowd parted like the Red Sea. She wasn't just the new girl anymore, she was the girl who survived, the girl whose mother changed everything. She gave a small speech at the auditorium that day. "I used to think silence kept me safe," she said, her voice trembling but brave. "But I learned that silence only protects the wrong people. Speak up. Always." The students erupted in applause. And as Sarah watched from the back of the room, she realized her fight had started a movement. From that day, Ridgewood High became a symbol of reform, a place where students stood up for one another. The school wasn't just rebuilt, it was reborn. And to everyone watching this story right now, if you believe in justice, in standing up for what's right, in never letting bullies win, hit that subscribe button and join us. Because stories like this remind us, courage is contagious, and one voice can start a revolution.